Live from the Score Atlanta television studios in North Atlanta, this is Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613.
All right, happy Friday Eve, and welcome back to another episode of Georgia High School Sports Daily. I'm your host, Najee Wilkins, along with Craig Sager. Got another jam-packed show for you guys today. We're going to talk to Colquitt County swimming and dive tuck and truck Gregory. That'll be a lot of fun to talk to those two, just with them winning. And they've won 8 of the last 11 state championships, so it'll be a lot of fun to talk to them about their dominance. We'll also have on Max, and we'll talk to head coach Lenny Gregory as well. Obviously, he's a new head coach for Commerce, so we'll get into it with him. A lacrosse preview and the top transfers so far, as I like to call it, the high school football transfer portal. We'll look at the biggest transfer so far in the state. So welcome on my co-host Craig. How's everything going, man?
Going well. So we talked a little bit yesterday about the region tournaments, how they have gotten started. I feel like the first part of this week was the pressure of securing that playoff spot. For some of the teams that are in those really deep regions where you have a Newton and a Grayson that are in the top 10, those third and fourth seeds are very hard to come by. And you can't fumble in those first couple rounds. So we've seen that. Now stay tuned tonight, tomorrow, and then a few on Saturday. These are going to determine the number 1 seeds. We'll have the basketball playoff brackets out at this time next week. Pretty excited.
How about that thriller last night? Buford ended up beating Mill Creek 56-54. The girls advanced to get the number 1 seed. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I think with that region is one of the ones that got set pretty early. So, I mean, it's just got to feel good to be able to secure the first seed, have the momentum of that big win, and then have time to kind of wait and see who your opponent's going to be, not have to take that first-round trip all the way down south. So, I mean, a huge win for sure. Yeah,
100%. And obviously, just quick note on football news. A commitment was set to take place, obviously, next Wednesday, but it's been moved back per Brett Greenberg. We've had him on the show a lot via 247 Sports, or Alabama 247, I should say. So he officially announced that he's moving it back. He was going to actually commit on his birthday between his 5 finalists, but that has been moved back, so that's big news there. We'll have the latest when that commitment obviously happens, and we'll react and everything like that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with our fast break headlines for today. Starting at the top, I'll get it started, Craig. Kell girls roll past Westminster to reach the region semifinals. Another incredible win for them. They've been balling all year long. They outscored Westminster 21-2 in the second quarter, en route to a 73-23 win in Region 6 4A semifinals this past Tuesday. The Longhorns moved on to the region finals and will face Cambridge for a chance to earn a number 1 seed for the Class 4A state playoffs. Their coach said, "I think when you're playing somebody for the third time, it's hard to try something different," said Kell coach Kendra Bailey. "I think Westminster came out and gave us a great different look from what we've seen in the past, and it took us a second to adjust. But I think overall we did what we needed to do." After a 12-8 lead following the first quarter, Kell got the second quarter started with a 16-0 scoring run, scoring in transition with steals and layups on fast break opportunities. Isaiah Thompson, she started with a layup before consecutive layups from Malaya Gilbert forced a Westminster timeout with 6:44 left in the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, just such an impressive win. And what I like about Kell, what they've done during this run where they've had their first ever state title, has been really consistent. They're such a good transition team.
Yes, they are.
You see, when you have a team that is trying to slow you down like Westminster, they know this is what you're going to want to do to try to overwhelm them. They know you have the speed and you still do it anyway. It just shows that they know their team identity. It comes from great coaching and also just the standard they've had the last few seasons, the challenging games, and that's a big result for them heading into that Class 4A.
And then real quick, I know you took the next headline. What's just your thoughts on the decision of Kennedy Deese? It reminds me a little bit of Crystal Henderson. I know you was very high on her when she played. Obviously, she's at Georgia State now, but it seems like this team has gotten better and better. She just won Region Player of the Year.
Yeah, well, what I really liked about Crystal Henderson and her overall decision, I mean, when she was at Kell, no offense to her teammates, I think it's just the way it was, they just completely relied on her offensively. I mean, she'd put up 40 points in some of these games, and she's not the biggest girl either. So we knew, okay, we've seen her put a team on her back for 4 straight years pretty much, where they would come so close. This is when they were in 5A. They finally got it done. She goes to the college level. Now she's sharing the role better. She's, still doing her thing, but she's in like a new sort of system. To have someone else come in, step up, and be the leader for Kell, that is, just a huge credit to her. and obviously really big shoes to fill. But I want to stick in Class 4A for this next headline. So we talked about the Kell girls. Another interesting team to watch, the North Oconee girls. They're going to play Eastside tonight. Only have one loss this season, and they just had another key player for them reach 1,000 career points. That is Kendall Wells. We like highlighting these athletes when they hit the 1,000, sometimes the 1,500 point. But in terms of her reaching this goal, she says she's not a three-point shooter, but it's a good thing her coach, Eric Willis, disagrees with her because a three-pointer is exactly what awarded the two-sport standout entry into the prestigious 1,000 Career Points Club. In warm-ups, we practiced a couple different plays to get me a three-point open look because it was an odd number, Wells said. We ended up running an offensive play where I shot and missed, and then we got the ball back. We ran the inbounds play, shot from the corner, and I made it. So what's really cool about this, they knew she needed a three to hit it right on the mark, and she hit it. So congrats to her. What a special moment.
Yeah, 100%. As you said, she's not really a three-point shooter, but be able to nail that shot and hit it direct. Not 1,001, 1,002, but 1,000 right on the head. There's no cooler moment than that.
Yeah, and then you call a timeout, the bench comes out, gets really excited. So, I mean, that's huge. Obviously, we'll see what North Oconee does. In the playoffs, they have a chance to secure that top seed. They will play Eastside tonight at 7 o'clock.
Yes, they will. All right, headline 3. South Georgia Wrestlers qualify for GHSA state meets. As you guys know, that will be this weekend. Valerie Medina, she leads the list of Georgia High School Association qualifiers for this weekend's state wrestling tournaments. Medina, representing Lowndes, won first at GHSA girls sectionals last Friday at Houston County High School. She had 2 quick pins to reach the championship, then won over Chloe Barrett of Houston via forfeit, according to the official brackets. Wrestling at the sectional at Valdosta High, Noah Scott of Lowndes was runner-up at 106 pounds. Scott won the first 3 matches by pin, including the first round by 33 seconds, before running into Camden County's Clayton Newton. Camden also kept Marquavius Lane of Valdosta from winning the sectional. Wrestling at 120 pounds, Lane won 2 major decisions in the tournament, like in the Region 1 6A finals. Isaac Santos of Camden kept Lane from being number 1, this time by a 4-0 score. Valdosta qualified Michael Dinsmore in 3rd place at 106 pounds. Dinsmore made it to the semifinals before being sent to the consolation side of the bracket by Scott. Dinsmore won the 3rd place match 5-0. Teammate Simeon Roundtree goes to the state finals after failing in the semis. He had a pin in the Russellbacks before being edged 6-4 in the 3rd.
All right, we're going to stick with some basketball for headline number 4. This was Ellie Cruz of Lassiter. She lifts them to an upset victory over Pope and secures a playoff berth. This is, I believe, a 7-team region, so it was a must-win game for them. She banked in the three-pointer with 4.5 seconds left in overtime to give them that 62-58 upset victory over Pope on Tuesday. That was the Region 6 5A quarterfinals. The Trojans' Claire McKinney stole the ensuing inbounds pass, split a pair of free throws to put the game out of reach after that. It was Lassiter's first win over Pope this season. The first 2 matchups, and this is why these region tournaments are so huge with the rematches, Lassiter lost 59-30 and 59-36, and then they're able to get that big overtime win. This is what their coach had to say. I thought we played really selfless tonight. We executed on offense. We got our spacing down this time, and we also got a lot of rebounds. Pope also wasn't making their shots tonight. We took advantage of that. All the things we set out to do, we did, and it helped against a really good team. So that secured the spot in the playoffs. We'll see how they're able to build the momentum. They did face Creekview last night. They ended up falling short in that one, 48-25. Now they're going to play Sequoia in that consolation. But, man, with the season on the line, being able to just secure the playoff spot, huge for that program, and to start to build that rivalry with Pope.
100%, Craig. And, all right, we have some more headlines. Mill Creek slips past Norcross in a thrilling matchup last night. In penalty kicks in girls soccer, they won 2-1 on penalty kicks Tuesday in the match of the top girls soccer teams. Jessie Finley scored the Hawks' goal in regulation off London Crawford's assist, and the match went to extra time tied 1-1. In the PK rounds, Mill Creek goalkeeper Issei Ferry saved 2 Norcross attempts. Sage Webster converted the game-winning 6th penalty kick for the visitors. In the PK rounds, Mill Creek goalkeeper Issei Ferry saved 2 of Norcross's attempts, obviously, in a big win for them. Craig, there's another big headline. I put it in, but I don't think we got it in time. But I don't know if we have the tweet, but what do you think about this? So I seen Thomas County Central. There it is right there. Thomas County Central, North Gwinnett, Gainesville, right? They're going to have a spring football jamboree. They're going to face off against Red Elephants, obviously, in North Gwinnett at Center Park Stadium Thursday, May 15th at 7 p.m. What is your thoughts on that? I think that's incredible. from my time in covering, I'll come up on 3 years in August. I've never seen that before. I think that's pretty cool. 3 teams all playing up against each other in the Jamboree, and they're playing on the big stage at Georgia State.
Yeah, I mean, they're showing what's possible in the spring. And I think when you're trying to build that excitement for your season, you have those high expectations, it sends a message to the players on the team. It kind of gets you more excited about the scrimmage that you're going to be playing. It just kind of heightens the urgency a little bit, makes it more fun. The highlights are better. I think it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my takeaways is you got 3 elite teams playing against each other. North Carolina only had 1 loss last year, made it to the quarterfinals. Thomas County Central has been a state champion, obviously before, and then obviously Gainesville looking to get back to where they've done. They've made a state championship appearance as well under Coach Niblett. So they've got 3 elite teams going neck and neck. That should be a lot of fun with prospects all over the field.
Yeah, and we'd like to talk to the coaches, see what's their strategy for the offseason, the spring. Are they going to do an inter-squad scrimmage? Are they going to do something like that? That's certainly the first time we've seen that, getting a facility like that to stage these 3 teams. And what's also interesting, I mean, we know kind of the identity of each of these. It's going to give them an opportunity to face a team like Gainesville offensively and then go up against Thomas County Central, so you get 2 different looks.
Exactly. One is a more defensive power team, and then you got one that's offensive firepower is off the charts.
Yeah, I really like it. And then I'm excited tonight. I know you did the scoreboard last night. I'm going to challenge my inner Seth Ellerby tonight, and I'm excited just to look at these initial results. You talked about the big Mill Creek Norcross showdown, obviously a ton of baseball ones, just to see who's winning these initial matchups that are really going to just set the tone and storyline for the season.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be a lot of fun. So obviously, Craig, have scoreboard tonight. I had it last night, but obviously we're going to have more coming up after the break. We're going to talk to Colquitt County's Tuck and Chuck Gregory, so don't go anywhere.
Great teams are committed, focused on the details, and work hard to be their best. From practice to games, right down to their gear. Your field is a critical part of the game that allows your athletes to showcase their athletic abilities. Sports Turf is committed to bringing your team innovative sports surfaces with unparalleled performance. You bring the vision. Our team brings it to life.
This makes my dad proud. He went through his whole career as an employee. Now I'm the employer, something he didn't achieve.
We are signatory to IBEW and do IBEW people wherever we go that we feel like they are faster and better than any of our competition.
The advantages of being a signatory contractor is you're trained employees. You have unlimited manpower. It allows me to bid on jobs that I ordinarily would not go after.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Man, you know how to do this? Man, I don't even know. I was flipping burgers last week.
Violation, unsportsmanlike conduct, impersonating a craftsman.
Skilled trade unions are well-trained career pros, not part-timers. Construction is a rewarding and lucrative career with the advancement potential, but you have to do it the right way with the right training. Learn how you can be a pro. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Electrify your career.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. Najee Wilkins along with Craig Sager, and we got Max Wyborski on with us. He obviously covered the swimming and dive state championships, did a magnificent job with that. And I know we'll be joined here shortly, obviously, by Trip and Tuck Gregory. What was just your biggest takeaway from Colquitt County just cementing themselves as one of the best programs, obviously, we have in the state?
So I've covered swimming and diving for the past 2 seasons, and for 2 years in a row, the Gregory brothers have both been at the top, whether it's first and second, but they've just both been dominant, and that whole program seems to have it going on as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I still think that no matter what sport we get into, Colquitt County just has this this pride where they want to be the premier program in South Georgia, no matter what sport it is. We've seen them really step up across the board, but to have guys like this that are able to put them on the map in a new sport like swimming and diving, it's huge. And I'm interested to learn a little more about the diving. I know it's like different heights for the diving board. Maybe there's the synchronized too, and then what the future holds for them at the next level.
100%. I'm gonna see if we have them ready to go. Yep, I think we do. All right. There they are. All right, so Trip and Tuck, Gregory, what's going on, guys? Appreciate you guys coming on the show.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, how are you guys?
Doing well.
Yes, sir, certainly. We're doing pretty good, man. So obviously I know you guys compete a lot against each other, but just talk a little about you guys' journey just with diving. How long have you guys been doing it? When did your love for the sport kind of come from?
So I've been diving, I think, since 2017. 2016 or 2017. It started when I was in like 5th grade, or around that time. I had one of my friends. He was a diver, and he could just do a backflip on the ground, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. So that's really why I started. And then after I started, my love for diving just grew from that. And it was great.
Yeah, so I was actually playing baseball at the time when Tuck started diving, and then all of my other family got into diving. So there's 4 of us that are divers, and we have 2 younger siblings. And I got into it after all of them, and I flipped between baseball and diving for a bit. And then, I think a year and a half into diving, I decided that's what I wanted to do, and I stuck with it.
Yep.
So, definitely super cool stories. And then for you guys, right, I want you guys to treat me like I'm a novice, right? I clearly don't know a lot about the sport. You guys know so much. So what are the keys to success? What do you need to do in order to just affect and impact the swimming as you guys have, or the diving as you guys have done for so long in you guys' careers?
So I think the biggest thing for us is probably how much we practice. Right now we're practicing 4 hours a day. We go from 1 to 5 o'clock, and before that we would go from 6:30 to 8:30 in the morning, and then we go to school, and then we come back and go from 2 to 4:30 in the afternoon. But I mean, it's really just a lot of repetitions of the dives and just really getting it down, especially for us since we kind of started later. Like most people who are higher up in diving started early,
when they were 6 or 7.
6 or 7. Yeah. So I mean, we really just had to put in a lot of extra work to get to where we are.
Yeah, I have a question. So obviously you guys have the place where you practice. I guess you're used to that board. You're used to that platform. Do you find when you go to a new venue, sometimes you're like, this one may be a little more springy, or is that something you don't really have to worry about?
Yeah, it's definitely something that we don't, I wouldn't say worry about, but when we get to a new pool, we usually have to test out all the boards, figure out what board we like the most, figure out if we need to change the boards. There's a fulcrum on the board. Sometimes we might need to change the fulcrum if the board's too bouncy or if it's too stiff. And then sometimes the platforms will maybe slant down a little bit, or they're slant upwards, and we'll have to adjust to that.
Yeah,
but
that'll do it.
It's definitely something we have to think about.
And guys, also, so what goes into really planning each dive, and what kind of strategy is really behind each dive as well?
So for the person, it normally varies. There's normally around 20, 25 people in an event, and a lot of people have a between dive routine. For example, between dives, or I'll do my first dive, I'll go talk to my coach, whatever. He'll tell me what he thought about it. I'll go sit down, I'll listen to music. And then before I go to do my next dive, I go talk to my coach again, and he'll give me a few corrections, a few pointers, whatever, to tweak my mind before I get up on the board. And then I normally model it once or twice, and then I'm ready to go.
And then I'd say same for me. Oh, sorry, you got it. You're good.
No, go ahead. I had a question after. You can continue.
Oh, yeah. So I'd say same for me. I mean, I talk to my coach, and then sometimes when people get on the board too, they'll have a specific routine. Before every single dive, I'll take 2 breaths, and then I'll check to make sure I'm dry everywhere, and then I'll walk to the end of the board, or I'll get in my little position, and then that's it changes for everyone. It's always different.
Yeah, and walk us through this season, maybe a new technique or new dive that you attempted to do to be able to get back on top.
So actually, I would say this season overall, we're going through a new coach change. As of Packer Diving, we have our coach, but then we also dive for a club called Moss Farms Diving, and we just got a new coach because our old coach went to Eastern Michigan to coach, and we got a Chinese coach who is Venezuela's Olympic coach. And so, like, all coaches coached in their own way. And so we've been adjusting to his coaching standpoint. I mean, I feel like it's been helping us a lot. He's more of like a modeling-based coach. Like, you do a lot of modeling. It's more modeling than diving, honestly. We probably model 30, 45 minutes of practice itself, and it's kind of insane. But I would say that's a big change. But, I mean, going into state, I would just think going into it with a confident mindset and a fun mindset, knowing that it's our senior year. We're going to have fun, and we're just going to compete against each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and guys, not only as divers, but as brothers as well, what does it mean to finish first and second 2 years in a row?
I mean, it's pretty great. I mean, I always love just being on the podium and seeing my brother beside me. And I mean, it's always like a good bonding for us, I feel like, just because we're always competing and pushing each other to be better. So, yeah.
And then I believe, Tuck, you've decided to go to Miami at the next level. What are you excited about that? And then, Trip, what are your plans?
So it's Miami of Ohio, but so the coach up there, it's his first year up there, and I think it's going to be a really great change for me, honestly. They have a full set of towers, 2 3 meters, 2 1 meters, and it's just like we're building a brand new team up there because I'd say for the past 2 years there wasn't a dive coach up there, and they finally got his name is Charlie Redder. He used to coach in Texas, but so we're building a new team, and it feels pretty good to think about it like that.
And when did you first know that you could have that opportunity to dive at the next level?
So junior year is when we started our recruiting, and I think I got 5 or 6 texts from different colleges, and it felt pretty good to feel at least like thought about from other colleges. And we committed to the University of Missouri, and then after like roster cuts happened in the NCAA, we got our spots cut from there, and that was pretty crazy. But then we just trusted the process, and then Miami reached out to me, and that was pretty cool. And then we talked a little bit, and then I visited, and then that's where it was all set in stone.
And then my question for you guys, obviously, just speak a little bit to the dominance and what's it like, obviously, playing for Colquitt County. You guys have won 6 straight diving championships. You guys have won 8 of the last 11. What's the culture like down there? What makes you guys so special with Colquitt County?
Yeah, I would say that the biggest thing is we're all like family. We all trust in God, and we make sure we know He has a plan. We all push each other. That's a really big thing. In practice, we like to have little competitions against each other, and it's like when we get to the meet, it almost feels like we're not competing. We're just there having fun with each other at another practice. Yeah.
And then before I let you guys go, just what has been your favorite memory that you're going to always cherish and remember just from, diving together, going on those long road trips? What's your guys' favorite memory together?
Ooh. I would say my favorite memory, honestly, is just like at practice. Sometimes me and him will like be on the same dive practicing it, and he'll be like, let's do a competition, and I'll be like, okay, we can do it. And then one of us will like have the best dive of our life doing it, and then the other one will just like smack flat on their face, just having a terrible hurdle or something. And it's just always fun doing that.
100%. That's all the time we have. I want to say, Trip and Tuck, thanks so much for just coming on and obviously sharing you guys' great journeys. Wish you guys nothing but the best at the next level and in the rest of your journeys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Nice talking to you.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, there they go. Trip and Tuck. Gregory, appreciate them coming on. All right, coming up in our next segment, we will talk to Lenny and Gregory of Commerce High School and get the latest about the newest facility that they're building out there. Should be a lot of fun. Don't go anywhere. Come right back here on the Peachtree Sports Network.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is presented by GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. Transform your future today. And by Smart Local 85. Sheet metal is a smart move.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. So we're going to talk to Commerce new head coach Lenny Gregory. But before we do that, we're going to toss it to Max. Max has some breaking news on the show to prepare for us. So let's throw it to Max.
Yeah, so Mount Pisgah has hired Brad Watkins as their new head coach. And Brad Watkins was just recently the offensive coordinator at Campbell High School. It was also the assistant head coach. He spent some time at Cedartown as well as the offensive coordinator. Just a good hire for Mount Pisgah as well.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, a program that we used to have featured in our Court Kale Dave Hunter Classic, especially when I first started. I remember them playing. Just a program that's trying to take that next step. And obviously, Campbell had a really good season offensively. I think they made a good hire in hiring Watkins, and he should be able to add a little bit of offensive firepower to him.
Yeah, for sure. And I really like what Campbell did this last year. We mentioned during signing day they actually led Cobb County in the traditional signing day with 10 guys that went on to the next level. Coach Watkins actually has, I think, according to the press release, like 8 years of experience coaching in college, Sacred Heart, Old Dominion, some other places. So you're getting a veteran guy that's been at multiple levels. He's also been at Campbell the last few seasons, was part of their turnaround where they had a great season. I think it's big, and a lot of the coaching carousel we're seeing is some big names going to these smaller schools and the private schools. So it should be exciting to see what he's able to do. We'll probably have him on the show coming up soon.
Yep, 100%. As you guys know, make sure you go to scoretl.com for all the latest with the coaching changes and anything going on here in the Peach State. But I'm going to see if we have Coach Gregory ready to go. No, not yet? All right, thank you guys. All right, but let's talk about, obviously, we'll have our transfers here. Craig, what do you think? You've always followed just the biggest coaching changes. You've always followed just the biggest openings. What opening do you think could be maybe the most enticing for the next head coach?
Oh, man. Guess we're still looking at it. I'd have to go to the list. I don't know who's still open.
Gotcha, off the top of your head.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think we're at like 20 left, but I mean, honestly, most of them have been filled. Yeah, thank you, Max. The biggest one.
Yeah, do you think that's still open?
Well, I think the Evans job's interesting. Out of Augusta, they're coming off their best season in pretty much school history. Oh yeah, Irwin County recently opened up. So yeah, some of the ones that have opened up in the last few weeks. Obviously, McNair opened up after Coach Drayton went to Northview. Pace Academy is still open. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, they got some players too. Justin Weeks, obviously, the linebacker, does a little bit of everything. I mean, that's obviously an interesting one. Irwin County made a semifinal and a final in the tenure of their head coach. So, program in Class A Division II, I believe. That's always been a really good program as well.
Yeah, and then I actually want to ask you about what do you think is different between the high school transfer portal and the college one? To me, I see it as in college, sometimes they transfer out because the opportunity maybe wasn't there for them at the school and they want to go to the next time. Sometimes a guy blows up at a smaller school, goes up, but when it comes to high school, I feel like it's a similar mix, but we see a lot of guys that have had success where they are, and then they'll go to these big name programs, and they really are putting a lot on the line because they have to perform in that tight window to then get the opportunity.
I think it's two things, Craig. I'm glad you brought up that question. I think for the kids, right, it's okay. Let's say, for example, I ball out on the private or Class A Division II level. And you could play, if you play in that level and you can be successful, you can be successful anywhere. But I think sometimes the kids think, okay, hey, maybe I should go up for recruiting purposes to get more eyes on me, one. And I think two is let me play steeper competition. So then when the coach asks, hey, where'd you play? Can you play up? Can you go to 5A or 6A, which is some of the best, and play at a higher level, which a lot of high school coaches call the SEC of high school football, and you can go ball, then there's no more questions coaches can ask. You can ball on the private or Class A Division I, Class A Division II level. You can also ball on the 5, 6A level. So I think the kids do it for recruiting and also for the competition potentially. And then maybe sometimes it can be scheme fit as well.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite transfers, I know you know who I'm talking about, is Kyle Vaca. What we saw him do when he was at Johns Creek, he was getting some some playing time as a sophomore. But what we saw him do his senior year once he went to Kell in that system, I mean, he blew up, was an all-region player, and then got an opportunity to go to Eastern Kentucky. So I think that's a perfect example of a player that is having success at the school, maybe isn't getting enough recruiting, was really underappreciated, and then, I mean, he went in late. He went in for his senior year. Now we see some more guys, like you see Christian Ward going over to Walton with a couple years where he's going to be able to be the number one receiver multiple seasons.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Obviously, the Ward brothers, Alexander Ward's another one as well. So obviously, transfer portal, we'll have more on that here in our last segment. We'll talk more about it. But we have Coach Lenny Gregory ready to go, so let's go ahead and bring him on.
Just audio.
Okay, all right, just audio. Got you guys. Okay, hey, Coach Gregory, so my question to start, I don't know if you've been asked this, you probably have, but just what made Commerce the right fit for you, Coach? What made it the right destination for you and your family? No? Okay, we don't have them. All right.
Having some audio issues real quick. I mean, what I think with Commerce, I mentioned last year, I mean, obviously they were in your Class A Division I rankings. They were right there with Elbert County, Athens Academy, who ended up winning that that region. But that was probably one of the more successful overall regions once they got into the playoffs. Commerce made a nice run, Elbert County. I really think Commerce, when you look at them as a smaller Class A school, they're a city school, they've got so much support, bringing in a coach like Coach Gregory, then you see the support that's already surrounding it with the new facilities. I think this is the team that's on the cusp of a state championship.
All right, I think we have Coach Gregory ready to go, so let's see if we can bring him on. All right, there he is. Hey, Coach, how's everything going? Yes, sir. Good to see you, Coach. And I don't think I've gotten a chance to ask you this, so I just want to ask, Coach, just for you, what made Commerce the right, obviously, field for you, obviously the right place for you and your family, Coach?
Coach, hold up. I think you're muted. Is there an audio button? Okay, we'll try to reconnect again. Do we have that graphic pulled up with the facilities we can show? Let's look at this real quick, just to show what Commerce is already preparing. And what I love about this, look at the date, coming August 25th, 2025. That is going to be here right before we know it. And to be able to lay out a plan like this and have it ready to go in 1 year, I think this shows what is possible when you have just a very efficient design. This is a multi-purpose facility. You see right there, it's going to be in the end zone. There's so much you can do with this. You got the weight room right there. You got indoor space. You can do ladder work right there. You can do drills. I mean, if the weather's not there, you can go in there. You can put the guys to work. You can shift it around and really look at that wall space also. I mean, once they start winning those region titles, state championships, there's lots of room for decorations.
Yeah, I think also with Lenny Gregory coming in and with the new improvements to the facility, it just really shows with the smaller school that they're really making a commitment to improving their football program to the best of their capabilities as well.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of the indoor practice facilities and some of these other premier things that programs are added, I feel like we see them at the Gainesvilles, the Colquitts, Bufords. To me, this is like the first one at a smaller school that does have the city school model. That is such just an efficient use of space, and it doesn't look overly complicated. They didn't say, well, we need one for a weight room, we need this for a field house, we need this for a meeting area. They kind of put it together in a really practical way, and I think that they're showing what's possible at a smaller school for other programs to use. I mean, that's so key for alumni coming back to games, just being able to show them that first class experience. I know there's going to be a lot of pride with guys that have come through the Commerce program just to see what they're building right there. I like the timeline of it, and then it also reminds me of a program like Perry. Didn't have the best facilities with what Coach Kevin Smith was doing, and then once they got the facilities built that year, they had their own locker room. That was the year they won the state title, and he was talking about how much it meant to have that meeting space. And then it also reminds me of Noonan. Probably 4 years ago, they got devastated by that tornado that went through there. And Coach Coach Walker was talking just about how tough it was for just the entire school to have to train out of trailers or go to classrooms, not have their weight room back. Just shows like having your own facilities, introducing that new weight room. I feel like it's going to really give them a boost and make them get after it.
100%. And I think to your point, Craig, obviously with the alumni being able to come back, imagine kind of similar what we see with Cedartown, right? Nick Chubb coming back to the weight room to work out. Could be the same for the same athletes that graduate from Commerce back home, want to get a lift in, can go here and do the same thing and use those facilities. So I think that's super cool as well. But that's going to wrap up this segment. We'll be back with more after the break.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Dang, where you get this car?
You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. You can get 10 of these.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and start your future today.
A journeyman with Local 85, when you turn out, you can be hitting 6 figures.
Hey, I have your back, you have my back. We're gonna do this together. We're one for all for one.
College just wasn't for me. Let's look into actual career jobs that wouldn't take college, where I wouldn't, lose money and all that. Instead of losing a lot more money at the end, why not make money and make more money at the end?
What happens after you graduate? Will you go to the next level? Will people have your back in the heat of the battle? Will you still train like a champion in pursuit of greatness? You will when you become an IBEW electrician. Join our team. Visit IBEW613.org.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. Sorry about the technical difficulty, guys, back at home. I think we're going to try to bring on Coach Gregory back in a second, and talk to him. I think they said he's ready to go, so let's see if we can get him. All right. Hey, Coach. You're still muted, Coach. Yes, sir. All right, so still working on it, still muted. That's unfortunate.
Man.
But just excited to talk to him. Maybe he'll figure it out. But nonetheless, Craig, obviously, we talked about Commerce, talked about the impact. And the team they had this year, Tashawn Wiggins, obviously, Jaden Daniels, so many great players. But what have you just seen real quick from them just in terms of their growth each year? It seems like they continue to get better and go deeper in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I like them. I actually picked them as my my dark horses last year to win Class A Division I. Well, I think the storyline this season was in Class A Division I was Toombs County was just way too dominant. We saw Northeast Macon had such an incredible year. They have one of the best running backs in the state. But Toombs County was just that unstoppable team. Everything came together. They won the first ever state title. I think it will be more wide open this year. And I think with Commerce, they know that the atmospheres they're going to play in. I didn't even mention Raven County. I mean, you got Elbert County, Raven County. You got Commerce in there. You're going to have Athens Academy. In terms of preparing yourself, all those teams are going to be in the top 10. They're so well coached. And then I think just the atmosphere is second to none in that region in particular with the level of support around the fans. We're seeing a trend where a lot of these former Class 6A coaches or even guys like Coach Pruitt going from Roswell and Fulton County to Dalton, where it's more insulated, it's going to have more of a community feel. I feel like it's just more exciting. Coach Gregory's going to just be able to focus on bringing that program into the modern era, getting these new facilities, and then really just showing that these smaller schools are some of the best jobs in the state. I mean,
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we got him. We got him.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, well, without further ado, Coach Gregory, how's it going?
Man, sorry about that. Everything's going good. Appreciate you guys having us on.
Yes, sir. Of course. Appreciate you coming on, Coach Gregory. I just wanted to talk a little bit about, obviously, your journey a little bit. I know you were at Collins Hill, then Gordon Central. Obviously, now you come to Commerce. Just what, for you, Coach Gregory, made this the right fit, not only for you, but also for your family?
I think when you look at a program as a head coach, you know, you've got certain things that you want in place. Number one, you need strong leadership. Number two, you need great facilities. Number three, you need to have a coaching staff. Number four, you need to have great players. Number five, you need to have great a feeder program, youth program, community. And when I go through and I look at all those things, Commerce checks a box on everything. And what a great opportunity to come in and have state-of-the-art facilities, great leadership, great kids, and, you know, a place where you can come in and put a staff together the way you want to. And, you know, I was able to build a state championship program at Collins Hill with not even a tenth of the resources that I'm going to have here at Commerce.
And then, Coach, speaking of that, obviously, you talked a lot about the resources. Just talk about, obviously, state-of-the-art facilities. I believe it's a $10.5 million facility they're building. Correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously going to have, you know, weight room, going to have, you know, a little track in there. Just talk a little bit about that.
Yes, it's going to be a multi-level field house. There's going to be an indoor practice facility inside. You've got a state-of-the-art weight room with all the bells and whistles that a strength and conditioning coach and a strength program would want to have, as well as the, you know, we're going to have a team room to conduct meetings, office space for coaches, breakout rooms for instruction, and we're going to have two different terraces for Touchdown Club members to watch the game and be a part of. I mean, it's going to, and I don't know if you guys have ever been to Commerce, Georgia, but this place is historic. It's special, and people love football in Commerce. So it's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere on Friday nights.
Yeah, and Coach, you mentioned it's multi-level. It's also multi-use, all the different things. How pleased are you with just the overall design, the practicality, and just, I mean, how big a part this is going to be just for the day-to-day and what you guys are doing at Commerce, just to have all that kind of in one space?
You know, what's great about a small single-A school is all your athletes play all sports, you know. And so a kid that plays football, he plays basketball and he does track or baseball and then obviously wrestling. So, you know, having it available to all of our athletes is it only makes sense at a small school. And we've got two full-time certified strength and conditioning coaches that we've hired that are going to be sports specific and really develop our student athletes here at Commerce.
And then you're talking about the support behind it. I mean, how did this project come about, and who are some of the maybe people at the school, administrators that help make this vision possible?
Well, I think it starts with the superintendent, and Superintendent Billy Kirk is, I mean, he's been a winner everywhere he goes. You know, he was a principal at Lumpkin County. You know, and who ever heard of Lumpkin County in football? But he helped build the facilities, put together a staff over there that went all the way to the semifinals. And they've been elite in basketball and football now. And, you know, he's taken that and brought it here to Commerce. And he believes in investing into our students. You know, that our greatest resource at any school is your students. So why not invest in them? He has a big belief in giving the very best for our students and our student athletes. And to be able to work for somebody like that is really a dream come true for a football coach.
And Coach, it looks like you've obviously already settled in at Commerce right now. What has just the initial weeks been like, and what do you see the potential with this year's team?
We're young. but we're very talented. And you know, the one thing I've noticed, so I've taken over several programs, and this one is different. This school, there's a level of pride here that has been just, you know, it's a coach's dream when you walk in, and every kid in the weight room wants to work, wants to be pushed, and they just want to take it to another level. And you know, they've won here and they've had success, but it's been since 2000 that Commerce has won a state championship, and the buzz around here is that, you know, it's time to get our program back to winning state championships. And you know, I'm excited to join the other coaches and this community in bringing back a state championship to Commerce.
And then, Coach, last question before we let you go. I just want to ask about like just the next steps. When will spring kind of start for you guys? Will you guys do an inter-squad scrimmage, or will you guys play against another team? What's kind of the next steps with workouts and spring kind of around the corner?
Yeah, of course, we're full swing right now in off season. The kids are in the weight room. They're doing, you know, we're on a block schedule, so they get an hour and a half every day to do speed and agility and strength training. So we're in that phase right now. And then obviously we're going to start spring ball on May 1st. And we've got a spring game scheduled with Social Circle on May 16th. It'll be the first time that Commerce has done spring football in a long time. I know in the last 5-6 years they've not done it. So this will be a first, and I think it's a great opportunity to introduce a new offense to them, new defense, and just allow me to put my spin on this program and get the kids exposure to colleges. I think one of the greatest things for spring practice is it allows colleges to come onto your campus and evaluate your kids. So what a great opportunity for these guys. I'm excited to get to work with them.
Certainly, Coach, and we say thank you so much, obviously, for coming on the show. You've always been a joy to watch. I remember meeting you for the first time we were at Collins Hill, Coach, and you've always been great. So wish you nothing but the best, Coach, and good luck with these Commerce Tigers.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, it goes Coach Lenny Gregory. Coming up after the break, we will look at the high school football transfer portal, so don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. Come right back here on the Peachtree Sports Network.
We celebrate the athletes,
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. So for our final segment, guys, we're going to look at the biggest transfers in high school football up until this point. I know it's a kind of a mute topic a little bit. I know coaches don't always like it, but it is a reality. That is high school football where we're at now. Players transfer. We broke a big one, obviously, earlier in the week that we talked about. But the biggest one, I think, right now, obviously, McEachern, and I think North Carolina has the biggest ones currently. But Casey Barner, right, transferring from Frederick Douglass to McEachern. Big play for them. Obviously going to be a great, obviously, DB. Got him, Nayland Scott, really good quarterback, Jerryon Campbell. Keatron, in my opinion, should be right there in the fold, should be able to compete for a region title and go beyond.
Oh, absolutely. And then, I mean, Douglas has had such a, just honestly, it's been inspiring just watching them improve over the last few seasons. Give that program opportunities to do things like play in the Corky Kell Classic, where they did last year. Got the big win, really one of the first games of the season against Dunwoody. What I like about him coming into McEachern, he's so versatile. He can do so many things, and I mean that's a pretty significant move. I mean he's going to be going up against. Going to have Harrison, Hillgrove, lots of big-time matchups. I just think it's an exciting opportunity for him to kind of go in that secondary, gel with his new teammates, and just become a reason why McEachern is going to be more successful this season.
So what's another transfer that caught your eye, Craig?
Well, we talked about the big one with Teddy Gerard, but I think the quarterback transfers are always very interesting because most programs, they'll have guys that have been maybe waiting their turn or trying to be the backup. Maybe they're entering a quarterback competition, but think what you saw with maybe with a team like Cambridge last year. That wasn't a transfer, but it was a new offensive system that came in. We saw what Will Taylor was able to do with that. When you're a quarterback, you've got to be at a school that's going to be able to run an offense that basically complements your specific strengths as a quarterback. I mean, is it the deep ball? Is it the quick release? Are you mobile? So I think the quarterback transfers are usually the most intriguing just to see maybe is that new move, is it going to unlock some potential?
A good point, obviously, Craig. A couple of those big ones that we have, I heard Marcus Turk is going to be the new quarterback over there at Cambridge, so that's going to be one to watch for. See what he can do formerly if Alpharetta played at Milton a little bit, backing up, obviously, Luke Nichols, so that's going to be one to watch. And then St. Thomas Aquinas, formerly Derek Baker, he was at the UA camp. He's going to be at Milton, so that's going to be an interesting one to watch as well. Obviously, they move on from their great senior class, going to have a new class coming in.
Yeah, well, if I can say anything, if he's coming from St. Thomas Aquinas, that's like one of the few programs where it's like the jump to Milton. It's like, well, he did play at St. Thomas Aquinas, one of the biggest powerhouses in the entire country, team that's always in that national top 10. So I mean, he's been at a premier program. I think that's going to benefit him as he heads over to Milton, but still big shoes to fill, just what Luke Nichols was able to do right there. But I mean, St. Thomas Aquinas, that's as good as it gets.
For sure. And I think a really interesting one is obviously Aiden Kane coming from Dutchtown and obviously Gainesville. We know last year, Craig, they obviously had Julius Columbus, who's now at Duke, to go along and pair with obviously Xavier Griffin. But now they're going to obviously have the Dutchtown guy via GT Time Sports. I think it's intriguing. I can't wait to see what he brings to the table. Their defensive line is going to be a lot better. He could do a little bit of everything. We've seen him ball in the Georgia League Classic, having 4 sacks. So him and Xavier Griffin and that defense should be really good this year.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no secret about it. When you're at Gainesville, you're getting 3 meals a day. You're getting the best training in the entire state, all these facilities, big spotlight. I just think that's, when you go to a place like Gainesville, they're going to prepare him. He's just going to get that extra care from the entire coaching staff to really improve his game, focus on those little things that makes you elite.
100%. And I know another big question about Gainesville has been the running back spot. Carmelo Bird obviously graduated. He's moving on to his next destination. Who will be the next guy in line? And a guy that nobody knows about, but I believe they will in a few short months. It's Nigel Newkirk. He balled out in Ola. Obviously, they still have their running back there, Caden Way. But now they're going to have a new guy now with Gainesville, Newkirk coming over. A very versatile running back that can catch it out the backfield. He can block. He can run in between the tackles. He can get out to the edge. So I think they really did good landing this guy for 2027.
Gainesville's always been able to find a guy. They had Naeem Cheeks, and then they brought in Gavin Hall that next year from Hebron Christian. Now they've got some new some new athletes in that backfield. Seems like they always have new pieces, but they all bring something different to the table.
100%. Well, guys, it's going to conclude the show for today. We appreciate you guys always tuning in. Make sure you tweet us at Score Atlanta. We have a great show coming up tomorrow, so make sure you come back right here on the Peachtree Sports Network. You will see three Grayson defensive backs, Vaughn Mitchum, Riley Drew, and London Goggins. So make sure you come back on segments 4 and 5 tomorrow to watch those exclusive interviews. A lot of fun catching up with the Grayson Rams.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off. Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
Beginning the morning you opened your eyes, we spent every waking moment preparing you for the day you'd leave our nest. Whether it's driving to practice or helping with homework, it's all prepared you for, what am I going to be when I grow up? Will you be ready?
After much thought, I made my decision to take my talents to the IBEW Local 613.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is not simply a job, it's a career. Visit IBEW613.org to begin a new future today.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Are you interested in becoming a deputy or a jailer? The Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office is hiring and looking for individuals passionate about protecting and serving their community. If you are 18 years or older, join our team by visiting gogcso.com for more information. Gwinnett County, together we can make a difference.